Did you know that, speaking of body language, you can learn more about, well, you can improve your relationship, actually, by learning more about body language. We can improve our chances of finding and maintaining the kind of relationship we want. That's one of the theories behind this book, Truth Heals. What you can hide can hurt you. And joining us right now is the author, Deborah King. Good to see you.
Hi, Deborah King.
Now, we all know that body language can speak volumes, but how does it help in relationships?
Well, if you know a little bit about your own body language and about someone else's, it can really help you determine if you're in a relationship that's going to go somewhere. Over 93% of all of our communication's nonverbal.
I know, it seems like people can't express themselves like me, verbally, but people can read body language very easily.
Yeah, we're constantly giving messages and signals to one another, and it's easy to tune in and find out what they are.
Why is it that even with our intimate partners, we tend to hold things back verbally? We don't openly express ourselves.
Well, we're all afraid of intimacy. We're afraid of, not being loved, not being cared about, so we hide things. It's the things we hide from ourselves, though, that do the most damage.
Right. Well, in your book, you give tips on how to find and maintain the relationships we want. One of the tips you give is to make eye contact. So tell us why eye contact is so important.
Well, when we really look at someone, it invites them in, because our eyes are windows to the soul, really, and so it invites their presence in, and it really tells them something. And if you want to flirt with someone without even realizing it, you'll look down their nose and maybe linger on their lips a little bit.
And all the way down to their toes, up and down the body. What if
that sends a message.
They don't make eye contact? If they're like looking away constantly at people walking by, passing by?
Hey, that really tells you something. I mean, haven't you ever had dinner with some guy and he's drumming his fingers and he's looking at every girl that walks by, and that's a message.
Right. Not a good one. You want. Exactly right. What about mirroring the other person? That's something you suggest we try.
It is, and it's something to look for. So if you lean toward your date and he leans toward you, that's a good sign. But if he leans away, have you seen John and Kate doing that on the couch lately?
Oh, yeah.
Now they're no longer snuggling.
Yeah.
That's all signals of, I don't really want to be with you.
And does the same go for expressions, facial expressions? If you mirror the expression of the other person, it communicates something?
It does.
Yeah.
It does. So you smile, I'll smile.
Right. Got it.
Yeah.
If you back away, it could mean you have bad breath. No. I do that. I'm like, whoa.
Well, we have a lot of garlicky dishes on this show, and sometimes I back away because I don't want you to smell my breath.
Oh, well, thank you very much. You're so courteous. Now, what about personal space?
Well, it varies from culture to culture. So here in the U.S., we'd like a little more space. It's about 1.5 feet here. But if you've traveled, you know that in other countries it's closer. And at first you feel like people are right on top of you, and then you kind of get used to it.
Yeah, I just came back from a trip to the Middle East, and I noticed that people were much more likely to get right in your face.
Yeah.
I mean, in a positive way, but way up close. And so it's
and that's normal there.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Yeah.
What about watching hands and arms? What does that tell us about the other person?
Oh, there's so much that we can talk about there, because when we have our palms open and our arms open, we're signaling reception, receptivity to your ideas. And if I'm like this, I'm telling you the opposite.
Okay.
And if I'm hiding my palms, maybe I'm hiding a secret.
So if you're sitting with someone, having dinner with a person in whom you are interested romantically, and that person is sitting like this, that's not a good sign.
Either that or it's freezing in the restaurant.
Okay.
And then smiling, of course, is a good sign.
It is.
And should we do that even if we're like not in a comfortable situation, or?
We should, because it makes us more comfortable and it makes the person we're with more comfortable. So smiling's always a good idea.
Now, I can see how a lot of this certainly is useful in the early stages of a relationship when you're trying to figure out if this is the person you want to be with or if that person wants to be with you. What if you're already in a committed relationship and you start to see these signals, these body language signals that are not inviting? What can you do to change that? Well,
it's a really good thing that you're going to the effort to even notice them, because your awareness is the key to everything. And now hey, maybe my relationship is deteriorating with my partner. It's time for me to become more interested in what they're doing, what their problems are, because if they're giving you all those signals, something's wrong.
So is that a time maybe to increase the verbal part of the communication, or are there?
Both.
Okay.
But you'd want to start, maybe you've gotten self-absorbed and you're no longer putting your hand on their arm when you walk or sitting next to them. There's all those signals.
Yeah.
Or you say when people stop greeting each other with a hug, and like your spouse, he comes in, you don't hug and smile or give a kiss.
Too busy.
Then that's a sign that the romance might be dying.
Yeah, or time to rev it up.
Yeah,
Okay.
time to smile a whole lot more.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
look that person up and down. Deborah King, thank you so much.
Thanks, Deborah King. I
Great
like
tips,
the
great
book.
advice. It can
Real
all be
pleasure.
found on our website, so check it out.
Well, what is